In this video, I'm talking with Talor Offer from Retail Empire, how an Amazon seller could expand their sales outside Amazon, how to offer your products to retailers, what to pay attention to, what is the difference in selling products online on Amazon and selling products in retail shops. It's completely different world, and a lot of great tips you will hear in this podcast, so in this interview with Talor. He will also give us an overview of additional special channels where you could offer your products to. And if you need help offering your products to retail shops and trying to sell products in these other special channels which Talor talks about in this video, you can contact Talor with a link below in the description and talk to him. Maybe he will be able to help you. And now enjoy the conversation. And if you like the content we create, don't forget to click like button and subscribe to our channel. Hello, Talor. It's nice to have you here. So please, before we go into your story, could you introduce and explain how do you help Amazon sellers right now?
Sure. Hi, Augustas. How are you doing? It's very awesome to be here again. As you said, my name is Talor. Some people pronounce it as Taylor in the States. It's easier to pronounce. I'm basically doing retail, and my main activity is retail. When I say retail, I mean mostly I work with retailers in the USA, like department stores, big boxes, whatever you name it. I started my career, I would say. I don't know if to call it a career, but I started back in early 2000. I used to live in Asia for like 12 years. Among that, I was also in China for 7 years, and I was producing for different big names like Walmart and Costco and some other names. And moving forward, a few years after China, I got back to my original country, which is Israel, which is where I'm based right now in Tel Aviv. And I built my own brands, and I was selling them offline. And I've seen a lot of traffic moving to the online, but still the offline, and until today it's the same, is the majority of the retail market, at least in the United States. So yeah, I mean, I kind of understood that the traffic online is huge and amazing, but my thing is retail, and that's what I know how to do, which is actually called offline sales. And I was building my own brands, a few of them, not many, and I was doing very good with them. I sold to approximately more than 60 different retailers in the States. Now you have to understand, when you say selling to a retailer, that means that, look, for instance, if you work with a retailer like Williams-Sonoma, that would be in terms of traffic and workload, that would be the same as having an Amazon account. So you could imagine how it would be to run 60 different accounts. And that was the load of work that I was dealing with. It was very, very, from one hand fascinating, but from the other hand was very hard. Rolling forward to 2016, 17, I think, I kind of understood that, it's too much for me. And I'm was fed up from all the manufacturing side and dealing with the Chinese side, not to mention that, the workload was crazy. And my products seemed to be not relevant anymore in the market. I had too much competition coming in. So I decided, to just, volume down everything. And then I realized that a lot of Amazon sellers are looking to expand their sales because, they produce, they have the product, they have at least basic branding or progressive branding and everything. And they have a micro brand, what we call, rise of the micro brands. And why not selling on other channels as well? And they are always looking for other channels because they have inventory in the States and so forth. So I started to take, a bunch of brands and see how I could sell them to the retailers that I knew by that time. And and that's what I'm basically doing since then. It's been 5 years, and I'm taking online brands, I'm switching them to become an offline brand as well. Because if you're an offline suitable brand, then you could be suitable for online as well. But if you're an online brand, then not necessarily you would be offline. It's very hard to define that. But the reason is that because when you look, for instance, and that's a good example, if you look at a website of a typical Amazon seller on their website, normally you would see, the 5 stars that are, parallel to what they do on Amazon, and you would see feedbacks on the website and stuff like that. These, for instance, are stuff that retailers, like whatever, Macy's, Hot Topic, Neiman Marcus, whatever, they don't really appreciate seeing that, because when they see that, they kind of think, oh, this is an online vendor. Not necessarily they would know how to operate, bulk orders, because yeah, there's a whole language in the retail space, like a language of how to operate with them. Not not a Bible, but still a language. So yeah, that's why just an example of the small differences between online and offline.
Actually, it's interesting. So yeah, what is the difference? So let's say it's if Amazon seller has one container, two containers in China, one container he ships to Amazon warehouse, and then he's basically forgetting and then optimizing the listings and selling. What happens with the second container if he wants to do retail? How much the process is more complex? Could you give a little bit overview of this process?
Yeah, definitely. That's the main reason why I'm here today. I will try to put a few points, and normally I'm dividing those points to 6 points, but I want to expand it a little bit today, because I want to give like extra, assets in this podcast with you. It's very important for me. So let's say that the other container went to a 3PL, external warehouse, and you want to sell it to the retailers. Now, the first thing you would think, okay, how do I present it? So you have to have like a nice brief, like a nice template of, whether you shoot it on email, or whether you shoot it on LinkedIn, or a message, whatever it is. Even if you're giving them a call, which is not normally something you would do, but suppose you would, then you have to have a certain text. How do I present myself? How do I present Retail Empire? How do I present Orange Klik? There's a certain text that is built which is supposed to cover, right? So you have to make it short, you have to make it wise, and you don't want to use the term Amazon. Everybody knows it's the elephant in the room when it comes to retailers. They all know you're coming from Amazon or selling on Amazon, but they don't want to talk about it. They're looking at your listing, but they don't want to talk about it, because they are feeling threatened by Amazon in some ways. So anyway, you would want to have that brief, and once you send that brief, suppose you went to LinkedIn and you found a very good contact in Costco, and the person is communicating with you, saying, hey, yeah, this looks beautiful, can I see some samples, can you send me, and everything. And then you want to send him samples. Now think about the samples they receive. If your goods that went to the Amazon warehouse were packed with poly bag, or it's just an empty box, like blank box, then think about that box sitting on the shelf in the retail store. Doesn't make sense, right? Because if I'm a customer and I walk inside the store and I'm like, what is it? Oh, it's empty. Forget it. I don't know what's inside, right? I just don't know. So basically, you will want to have like a very clear image of the product from outside, or to have a window, just a window. Now, sometimes doing a window to packaging, and depends what you're selling, but sometimes it's very easy, because it's just, instead of using a front normal whatever plastic or PPE or whatever it is, cardboard, you could use like something that is made of transparent plastic, or transparent, how do you call it, I forgot the name, but anyway, something transparent that you could see the product from outside. And then it's like, I'm passing in the store and I'm like, oh, I know what it is, and then either I want it or not. It's as easy as that. And if it's branded nicely, like suppose you're selling, I don't know, something for the kitchen, and suppose you're having like nice small images around that window, or around that image, not necessarily a window, around that image, images of a lady or a guy standing in the kitchen and talking with the product in the hand, or something like that. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to go into details, because it's just an example, and not necessarily it has to be, really images of the product. It has to be, it could be lifestyle, and they really appreciate lifestyle. So here you have already the brief, and you have the packaging, and you have a little bit of a branding. Now they see the samples, they get them on hands, and you have to make sure, I just had samples sent last week to TJ Maxx from a very beautiful brand, made in Italy brand, and they have nice presence on Amazon in the States in general. They have goods and everything, and the girl was like so excited, and she got the samples and never heard back. After a few days, and that was last Wednesday or Thursday, I was like following up with her, like, hey, how's it going? What do you think about the samples? And I could show you literally the email chain. And she was like, I'm sorry, I don't think it fits us. Thank you and everything. Do you want me to return the samples? Now, it's not normal that someone would offer you to return the samples. And normally you would say no. But why didn't they want it? And the guy whom I'm working with was shooting an email asking her if she could equip him with some opinion about the samples because, he was expecting a positive vibe. And what happened? And he didn't understand and she didn't respond. And I didn't want to push her because I'm working with that buyer and I know that I'm going to need her tomorrow again. Okay. So I didn't want to push her with the comments. I thought to myself, there would be a point where I'm going to talk with her about it. And all of a sudden today we had a request for Costco for the same very brand. Again, the Italian, face care, cosmetic, beauty, and they sell like various SKUs. And I was like, hey, have you seen that email from Costco? They want you to see the samples. And he was like, yeah, but I'm just worried because I have a little bit stain on the product. I said, stain? Hold on, can you show me a picture? And the guy sent me a picture of the box, a cream, body cream of the box, and it's all like, squeezed on the top. So like, if I get that as a sample, what am I gonna get in the stores, right? So I was like, mate, oh my God, this is what happened with TJ Maxx. You sent them samples, you didn't check them, your warehouse didn't check them, whatever happened. But at the end of the day, they got, crappy samples. Boom, here it is. They are afraid to work with you. They don't want to get lousy quality. And not to mention that it's TJ Maxx, they're already selling for low prices, so they don't want to screw it up with the quality. Yeah, you have a question?
Yeah, so I'm just thinking Amazon seller usually deals with samples from Chinese factories. So of course, Chinese factories are sending without packaging. Just look at the product. Do you want to sell it on Amazon or not? And then you take care of your packaging. But here you have to present like really premium quality, the sample. It cannot be like just half made. Wow, really?
So, but there's two options in that case, and I'm running into this problem a lot. Not problem, but issue, I would say. So here's the thing. Sometimes you might want to create that packaging and to use it on Amazon as well if it doesn't change the size, because if you change the size, it's going to affect your shipping costs, right? And you don't want that to happen for nothing. Or you're going to say, you know what? I'm not going to change it, but I'm going to create samples that are dedicated for retail. And that's a whole different story. Why? Because then you would create like 20, 30, 50, maximum 100 samples. And they're going to sit in your warehouse. They're going to be dedicated for the retail step. But then you have a minor problem that you have to make sure that you can do that with your Chinese manufacturer. Because some of them would come up and say, oh, whoa, wait a second. The minimum quantity is 1,500. And you were like, what 1,500? What are you talking about? I just want samples. Come on. So you have to explain to them that you're going to step into retail. You're going to bring the big business to them. Now, here's the thing. I'm working with Chinese for almost 2 decades by now. I don't like it that much. It's very hard. But I can tell you something. During all the years, I've been noticing that when I sit down and explain them, what exactly am I doing, that I'm going to work with Macy's, Bloomingdale, whatever, American Eagle, Urban Outfitter, when they hear those names, they're like turned on, like, oh my God, this is a business. This is what I want to hear. Because everybody comes with them like, yeah, I'm going to sell on Amazon. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. What's your MOQ? No, you're talking about a whole different level of business. Now, here's the thing. Some of the Chinese, especially the good ones, factories, manufacturers, or trade companies as well, they are flying constantly to Europe, to Germany, to the States, to Vegas, to show their products, and they don't understand why the retailers are approaching, looking at it, and not buying from them. They are, driven crazy out of that. And here's the thing: the American companies, retailers, they don't want to mess with all the supply chain. That's the whole thing. It's not about culture. It's not about production. It's about supply chain. They don't want to mess. They give me landed goods and leave me alone. Give it to me branded, packed, well done, with price inside, landed, boom, I'm good. I know how much it cost me in my warehouse. I know what's the price for the consumer. I know what's the wholesale price. That's it. I have all the parameters I need. So that's the thing with packaging. Hopefully it's resolving. I mean, it is sometimes challenging, but it's also, workable because I've been doing that for many times. Sometimes you have to use external companies and so forth. But anyway, so that's okay. She saw the sample, or he saw the samples, the buyer, or the GMM, General Merchandise Manager, or sourcing manager. And I'm giving you great tips because, saying GMM is something that took me a long time to understand. I was always thinking about buyers. It's not about buyers. You want to go to the GMM. Why? Because the GMM has like tons of buyers under him or under her. And he's like, he's giving the instructions. Hey, you see this line? Get me samples. Let me see that. That's it. Boom. They don't talk with you. They talk through other people with you. So GMM is a good example, and there's like also there's another one, SVP or something like that. SVP, I think. I forgot what it stands for. But anyway, there's tons of terms out there in the internet. You can find them in terms of purchasing and sourcing managers. Now, they see the samples, they see the packaging, everything is cool. And now they want to say, okay, let's make a test order. So if you have a small quantity of few hundreds that are retail ready in your warehouse, then beautiful. They give you a test order. They try it. For instance, if you look at Hot Topic, they have 400 and something stores, if I remember correct. And I'm doing a test order with them now for only 40 stores. I'm doing like, hair dopes. People who, deals in the States with hair, they would know what it is. I guess you've seen that a lot of people walking around changing their colors in the hair daily. So those are hair dopes. Anyway, they're taking a test order for 40 stores, which is 10% out of the stores, and they're taking small quantity. But the thing is, you're going to get like a few thousands of dollars orders, which doesn't really have a big meaning and effect on your business. But once they give you the real order, which is obviously, conditioned to see that your products are selling indeed, then you're going to get like, 400 stores, 500 stores, TJ Maxx, 4,000 stores, not to mention CVS, for instance, pharmacy chain store, which is buying like crazy. They have 10,000 stores. Numbers are quite big. Even Dollar Tree, they have 13,000 stores. Now imagine that you're giving them something, selling them something, and the quantities, they're taking at least 2-3 dozen per store. When it comes to real orders, then you're talking about quite big quantities. So anyway, now you would come up and say, all right, so I get a test order and I send them the goods. What about the money? So here's the thing. If you sell to local stores in the States, they would pay you upfront. If you sell to retailers like 5 stores and above, they would give you net plus something, meaning you will have to wait for the money. And you have to take that in consideration. So I don't want to talk too much about, financing orders, especially when they are fat orders. But this is definitely not something you have to be worried about because, there are a lot of factors, which are companies that are, giving you credit, literally money to pay the order in China to make sure it's, being freighted to the States, and then to wait 60 or 40 or 30 or 20 days for the payment. Those kind of factors, they know how to deal with orders from retailers. Small, big, medium, it doesn't matter. You can also go to your bank, which is another story. But anyway, you can calculate that most probably you would pay somewhere between 2 to 5% on top of your expenses just for the financing if you don't have the money to finance that. Yeah, if you have it, then fine, it's good. So I wanted to talk about retailers today, obviously, because that's what I do. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so retailers, of course, people can get your service, you can help them and go through the process. You have know-how of many years. But if someone, I don't know, wants to just test waters, is there an easy way to find retailers, to like the first contacts whom you could?
Definitely. I would recommend to start with LinkedIn because LinkedIn is a living heaven for retail. It's literally a living heaven. You can walk there and try to make your profile a USA-based profile if you can. Normally, you should be able to do so because I'm working with like UK sellers, Australian sellers, New Zealand, States obviously, but other countries as well, even Colombia, and most of them, they know that if they do LinkedIn, they do it under like a US address based profile because it looks better on the other side. I know it's not the most honest thing on earth, but this is business. And anyway, I think the first step you would want to check is like you could check like for buyers. And here's the thing with LinkedIn. Once you get a few of them connected to you, you can reach out, and if they connect or not, some of them do, some of them doesn't. But once you have like 3 or 5 or 10 of them in your members, in your like contacts, then your properties and your results per search would be totally different in LinkedIn. When I started with LinkedIn, like I think 5 years ago or something like that, or 4 years ago, I was like getting 0 results. I couldn't find buyers. It took me, at least I think a week or 2 just to find the first few buyers because all my definition was like not oriented to retail. It was oriented to I thought I'm going to use it for something else. Once I did got the first contacts, all of a sudden all the recommendation changed. I was recommended, like, to different buyers and sourcing managers out of retail companies. And then once you're connected with someone, all is contacts and second and third round contacts is going to be exposed to you, and you can connect to them. And by that, if you sit on it or you give it to your VA, in a matter of a month or two, you're going to have a few hundreds of buyers on your LinkedIn. But here's the thing, you have to be very smart when you approach them. You don't want to be pushy, that's for sure. You don't want to say, hey, here's a great brand I have. Do you want to see it? No. You do it nice, you do it easy, you do it smooth. First of all, you build your profile to make sure that you look, authentic. Then you're going to approach and you say, thanks for connecting. I appreciate your connection. Whatever it is, just, drop something out there. Don't necessarily go ahead and bump them with, with all the information. Just, nice to meet you, or thanks for connecting. It's great being here, or whatever it is. And once they respond, then it means that you have a small door that you can walk in. And if you want to walk in that door, and you're walking into a huge door actually, but it's just small because it's LinkedIn, you have to be smart to make the right move. And being smart means that you want to present what you're talking about in 2 sentences. Now think about LinkedIn. When I'm getting promoted for money LinkedIn messages, it's like I'm reading like, oh my God, what the heck? I don't know who you are. You're not connected to me, or you were connected 5 minutes ago, and you're sending me like a huge Bible. Like, what the heck? Nobody's going to read that, right? So like, I mean, you lost me at that second. I mean, when they talk too much, especially in social media, it means they have nothing to say. When they don't talk too much, it means that they have a lot to say. So anyway, and I'm talking a lot. Just kidding. At least today. Yeah, after a session like
Okay.
that.
Yeah, so you already mentioned earlier how important is the method you approach, and you can mess up very easily and like just cancel all the chains of all the possibilities. So LinkedIn is one way. Is it possible, like, let's say if I want to sell product on Walmart, are these kind of contacts possible to find on Walmart page, or Walmart is not usually
No, on
searching
their
for?
page, on their page, you would not find contacts normally. Sometimes you would. If you're looking for, looking at variety wholesale stores, they are now attached to Rose stores. I don't record the proper link. It's not Rose stores. It's a different like organization inside the company. But then again, if you go to that website and you go to contact us, surprisingly, all the buyers are listed there: names, phone numbers, and emails. Wow, like it's a real different thing in the market. So that's a good, it's a good example. And then don't do two things. Don't pay money to anyone for contacts, because that's not the right way to do it. And do not approach companies like RangeMe. And people tend to think that RangeMe is a good thing. I've been in touch with Ulta Beauty, which is a good retailer, and I know them and I did business with them. And all of a sudden, I got an email the other day, I think, I don't know, when was it, this week or whatever, from Josie, my girl, and she was saying like, hey, here's the link, can you upload that? And I was like, Josie, come on, this is a RangeMe link. I'm not gonna do that. Forget it. She says, no, 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 no. Don't think it's not the link that you know. It's a link that takes RangeMe directly to my desktop. So it's different. So I was like, oh, okay, fine, no problem. But normally RangeMe, and I tried that and I tested that. I don't want to say bad things, but I don't have anything but bad things to say about it. Bottom line, don't do stuff like that. Don't fill forms online, because it never gets to nowhere.
What
Yeah.
is Range Me? Is it some kind of software, or because I
It's
don't
some
think
kind of,
people are
it's a
aware?
platform. It's a platform that some retailers started to use 3 or 4 years ago, and it's a place where you upload your products, and they're supposed to see that. The thing is that the only, you don't get any, I mean, bottom line, you're not getting anywhere with that. I don't want to talk too much. I don't want to say bad things, but that's from a personal
And
experience.
you are in this space for a while, so just, of course, if someone is doing and trying this LinkedIn stuff, uh, in comparison, can you tell what is your database of contacts, of warm contacts with whom you communicate? And let's say if some Amazon seller comes to you, you already have maybe a list of 10 or 20 or 2 persons. Like, what is your contact base?
Well, my contact base is like my close round is about 600 buyers, and then I have recently another 300 added because I expanded my activity and my team and everything. So basically, we're talking about almost 1,000 contacts that I work with almost on a daily basis. Normally, I would say that at least 50 to 70% of them, if I shoot them an email, they would get back to me in a day or two, sometimes in minutes. It depends who we're talking with. Some of them I work with on WhatsApp, which is amazing. That happened during COVID time, because before that, nobody would give you his WhatsApp. And here's a good tip. Here's a very good tip. If you look at Walmart, for instance, okay, that's a good example. And you don't want to work with the online platform. You don't want to go through that hell. You want to go to the omni channel, which is a better hell. So if you do that, and you're seeing a name of a buyer in LinkedIn, and the guy doesn't connect with you and he doesn't answer you, which is typical and normal. So, all right, you can shoot him an email, but how would you know his email? Very easy. You click on Google. Um, how what's the term from that? Like Walmart email construction or email format. Okay, and then it's going to give you, there's a lot of websites doing it, it's going to give you in percentage that like 90% of the contact is going to be first name dot last name at walmart.com, or first letter of the first name dot full family name at walmart.com, whatever it is. Then you look at LinkedIn, oh, boom, I have the email. Now, if you're doing such a thing, which is time consuming, do it with the exact buyer that you need. Don't waste your time on buyers that are, nearby, across to the category. No. If you do such a process, do it like very, very precise. And you can give it a VA, and a VA who's working like good could come up with like hundreds of them a day. Okay, and I've been doing that. It's like 6 to 7 hours of sitting on the ass and doing it, but it's possible. That's another way to do so. Once you have a brand and you know your category and subcategory and the parallel categories, then you're good. You're very good, because you know exactly what you're looking for. You're not gonna approach beauty buyers if you're selling toys. You're not gonna waste your time. Unlike me, like for me, almost all the buyers are interesting for me besides food, because I'm doing like many categories. So it's like very hard on my side. Yeah.
Could you give us some tips? What are like channels in general where Amazon seller could sell their products outside Amazon, like some special channels or whatever comes to your mind?
Yeah, so that's exactly what I wanted to do. So here's the tips. First of all, you have the retailers. Not an easy thing, definitely doable. That's the first thing. Second thing, yeah, you can go to standalone stores. You can go to Yelp.com or to others, yellow pages directories, and find store by store. If you want to do like, if you want to do small business, you don't want to start in big. You want to sell like 50 pieces here, 100 pieces there, 300 there, and collect a bunch of, stores buying from you, like whatever, 50 or 100 of them buying from you on a monthly base, which is great. It's a good business. So that's also a channel. Now, here's a very, very interesting channel that is growing like crazy. And it's like, it's like looking at Amazon 7, 8 years ago. That's the way it seems to look like. And what am I talking about is subscription box. Now, subscription boxes are companies that what they do, they have, from obviously Instagram, TikTok, and all that, but they have like tons and tons and hundreds and thousands and millions of subscribers that are subscribing to a certain box that they would receive every month, full of surprises. Now, they either pay $19.99 or $59.99 or $120.99 and so forth. It depends, what they choose, how exclusive they want it to be, how premium they want it to be. And at the end of the day, those companies are sending like a box full of surprises. Now, obviously, if we're talking about, for instance, All True, which used to be Cosbox, it's second or third big subscription box. If you're talking about them, they're oriented to ladies between 25 and 45 years old with such an income and so forth. So you would not approach such a company selling them baby stuff or maybe baby, yeah, but not not toys. You would not sell them men jacket, right? Because it doesn't make sense. But here's the thing. There are subscription boxes for almost every category. it's so insane that I've also seen subscription boxes for metal, like metal music, heavy metal, and so forth, like dedicated to that. I've seen vinyl records subscription boxes. I've seen pet subscription boxes. You have BarkBox. Everybody know BarkBox in the States. And I've even seen CBD products subscription box, which amazed me because I was like, no, that cannot be real. And it is real. Like it's a whole thing based on CBD. So they know what's the demographic of their customers, and that's what they prepare for them. And there's a whole buzz in the internet about, hey, on YouTube, I got my subscription from Ipsy today. Ipsy is the biggest company. I work with them. I got my Ipsy today. Let's see what I have here. And there's like tons of viewers and they discuss it and everything. It's amazing. It's a very good business. Now think about, yeah.
Can you explain subscription box? So it's a company which every month, let's say, collects different brands, and maybe every month it's a different products.
Exactly. Now there are a few things. They don't only sell those boxes, and if you sell them once, that means that it goes good, and then you're gonna sell them again, either the same SKU or another SKU or different color, whatever it is. Also, they have realized that they have their website, so they're selling on ads on in their website, and they have full of different inner channel inside these subscription box companies thing. There's a whole buzz around it. If you just go on Google and click subscription boxes in USA, you're gonna have like tons of them. Now it's not easy to approach, but it's totally doable. And again, when you approach them, so here you don't have the packaging issue, right? Because nobody goes into the store. They get it shipped to them and everything. It's as if they're buying it online. Not as if, that's what they do. But then you have something else. You have a very challenging thing with the pricing. And why is that? Because they want to show like a very big value to the customers, showing them, hey, you bought this box for $99, but the value is $500. That means that if your product is MSRP, like retail pricing, for $100, then most probably they would buy it from somewhere between, and hold your chair, $6 to $20, which is 6 to 20% off your MSRP. It's very, very challenging. Now, hey, we're talking, when I'm saying that, I have to explain. We're talking about the big quantities, the 100,000, the 200,000, the 500,000 pieces. That's how they do it. But if they're gonna buy from you like 10,000, 5,000, 30,000, most probably you'll be able to sell it for somewhere between 25 to 30% off your MSRP. Now, if you're selling for $100 and your landed cost is $40, then forget it. But if your landed cost is $15, then you have something in your hand, and you don't look at it as if you were looking at a retail, a normal online sale, because here you talk quantity, right? You multiply cents or tens of cents by quantity to know if it's worth it or not. Am I going to do like, nice pack of money here or not? That's the question with them. So yes, subscription boxes. I'm always having issues with this pronouncing this term. It's too long for me. But yeah, this is definitely something that is moving very, very fast and growing very fast. Now to the next channel, which is, I don't know, but maybe the most interesting one. Now, before I talk about this channel, think about your brand, and you want to do branding. Why you want to do branding? Because at the end of the day, you don't want to sell, even if you're selling pens and stuff like that, you would think like, hey, I could sell, and I've seen people doing it, I could sell it like as it is, and that's it. Or I can brand it, and I can open a Facebook group with people talking about the products, getting like vouchers and whatever. Make a buzz out of it, not just selling the product, but making it a brand with the name that people would remember. I personally know, and I'm not going to say names. His name is James. I'm just kidding. I know a person, and I've seen him selling pens and stuff like that for, I think last time I've seen his account was last year. He's selling for like almost $30 million a year, which is beautiful. Why? Because he branded it very well. So branding is something that normally you would think, hey, I'm gonna spend a lot of money for branding, right? I'm gonna pay people to do it, and then I'm gonna pay the PPC, and I'm gonna pay the traffic and my VA and so forth. Fine, no problem. Here's a way where you can make money, get traffic, Get your brand like, on the highway, on the flight way, and almost with no efforts in terms of investing money. How is that possible? There's TV, right? Everyone has TV at home. Now, there's TV shows. And let me give you an example. And I'm talking about this example all the time. And I'm a little bit tired to hear myself talking about it, but it's the best example I have. But obviously, there are other examples. Good Morning America is a nice show on ABC channel. Their exposure on that show, which is I think Monday and Thursday, if I remember correct. Maybe don't get me on that. Maybe I'm wrong about the days, but anyway, their exposure is somewhere between 100 to 150 million houses in the states. Now you're talking about big numbers, really big. Now they have in the Good Morning America, they have a segment with a lady called Tori Johnson. She's very famous. You can YouTube her or Google her. She's very famous. And the segment is named Deals and Steals. Deals and Steals, Steals. Yeah, Deals and Steals. And that segment is taking it's like, I think 2-3 minutes, not more than that, sometimes five. And every 30 second or 25 second, they show another small brand on a table like behind me. Think about a table like that where your products, let's say 5, 10, 20 SKUs, not like not something huge, not something crazy, sometimes even 3 SKUs or 4, sitting on the table, and they are showing it to their viewers, talking about the product like, wow, look at this, it's so sweet. And I've seen Deals and Steals selling products that I was like, oh my god, I can't believe they do it. They were selling like animals slipper, the slippers that are with animals shapes. They were literally selling those kind of things. So we're talking about very small brands that could enter and step in as long as they like it. So the thing with them, you sell it to them on the show in a wholesale price. If you're retailing for $100, as we said before, you're going to sell it on the show for $50 because you have to show value in the program. But then it's limited for like 2 or 3 hours. Okay, it's like a flash thing. So, and obviously you're going to pay some percentage of the sales to the TV segment. But then the whole thing with that not only you're going to sell like insane for 3 hours, and when I say insane, I'm talking about doing hundreds and thousands of dollars in not more than 3-4 hours. Obviously, you have to ship them and everything, but that's a whole different story. They also have companies that could handle everything for you, so you don't even need to do anything. You just sit there and stare at the screen, looking at the orders coming in like crazy, and you get everything paid right on the spot by PayPal. You get paid on PayPal, and the TV segment is waiting for your payment afterwards. That's how it works, which is amazing. It's great. It's like selling on Shopify. The only thing is here, which is a little bit challenging, is the price, because you have to be very attractive for their consumers, their viewers, and you have some expenses on the way. But I don't want to dive into details, but that's what TV segments are. By the way, you can also do the same thing with QVC, which is also amazing. But there's a lot of media companies. Other channels that I know about and using are flash sites. Used to be strong 2-3 years ago. I'm sorry. Recently, I'm not seeing that much of a traffic there, but still, flash sites like Zulily or big drop shippers like whatever. Forgot names right now, but there are a bunch of them. You can look like big drop ship companies in the States. Those are another two channels, a little bit more minor, but still good channels to move goods, to move your products, and to get exposure. Again, if you look at flash site like Zulily, some people are making like in an event where their products are exposed to their Zulily consumers. Some people are making $3, $4, $5,000 a day for 3 days, and some people are making like $50,000, $100,000 a day. It really depends on your product, but it's not a, yeah.
And when Amazon seller wants, has a dream to sell products on TV, can you help them with that? Like, do you have contacts and?
Yeah, definitely. I've got to the point, thanks God, with a lot of luck and all that. I got to the point where I'm with texting on WhatsApp with Tori Johnson's assistant, like the first-hand assistant. So I'm like, I'm not even emailing her. I'm just showing her on WhatsApp, like, hey, what do you think about that? Could that work? And if it does, then we move forward on emails and everything. So definitely the answer is yes, because that's what I do. My focus is on sales. I'm selling brands. But the major issue I have is the majority of the brands approaching me, majority, but not all of them, are not retail ready, which is a huge term. And we spoke about it in the beginning, like packaging, brief, catalog, all that. So because I want to sell more brands, because that's where my business is, that's where my money is, by selling, by making percentage of sales, because I'm a rep agent, I have to get them through a process where I'm doing the retail ready process for them. And I am offering this as a service for the last year or so, because I kind of understood that I don't want to give up so many good brands just because they're not retail ready. So that's what I do. I do the retail ready service if it's needed at all. Sometimes it's not. And I do the rep sales, which is the majority of my activity. And yeah, I have like the link for anyone who wants, to approach and discuss and show me the products and everything. And yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, of course, there will be a link below to contact Talor and to read more about what service he's offering. And even if you are starting on your Amazon business, maybe you have a lot of investment and you want to source your first product, it's probably beneficial to talk to Talor to kind of adjust some processes in your first product so that it's ready for retail if you want really to grow outside Amazon in the future.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, again, you will find links below. And thank you very much, Talor, for your story. Thank you for the tips. And these channels, I didn't know about subscription boxes, maybe because I don't live in US, and about the really success in selling products on TV programs. I thought it's old fashioned. It's like 20 years ago, but it still works.
No, it works, and it works good. Thank you so much for having me today here. Thank you, Augustas. It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you. I hope you heard some good tips. Don't forget to click like. And if you need help with retail shops, check the link below to contact Talor Offer at Retail Empire. He will be happy to help you. Mention this video that you came through Orange Click. And now I would like to invite you to watch video with Sasha Gorelik. She's a copywriter, and in this video, she explains a lot of things about A+, gives really good tips and examples how to do it in the best way that it converts the best.